Hello and welcome to In the Clock End, an Arsenal podcast with me, Steve. Arsenal went into Fulham yesterday with a chance to make it 4 out of 4. They didn't disappoint. And with me to talk about it all, I have Kelvin. Happy Sunday.
I guess. But yeah, I'm all good, Steve. How are you?
No complaints. Yeah. It's not Monday yet, so I'm quite partial to a Sunday.
Yeah, but as much as I love a good relaxed Sunday, I get into that Sunday evening feeling of Monday's on the horizon.
The dread.
The dread just starts to kick in, doesn't it? As Sunday wears on. But no, I think it's hard not to be in a good mood. As you just mentioned, Arsenal going 4 out of 4.
4 out of 4. Remember those T-shirts last season with Southampton, like stop the count? Just stop the season now. Call it quits. Give us the title, and we'll all go happy.
Absolutely.
So let's get into yesterday. It was a big opportunity for us to make it 4 out of 4. It proved to be a little bit more difficult than some of us would have expected. I think when you get these sort of newly promoted teams, you never really know what to expect, right? And it wasn't, even for all our dominance, it wasn't necessarily the easiest of afternoons, was it?
No, absolutely not. And I think, myself and James alluded to it on the pre-match pint podcast there before the game, and it was just like, when you look at newly promoted sides, there's 3 of them, right? And the main one to look out for is who won the league, because you do come into the season with a bit of confidence. You're still riding a bit of a high, and they scored a lot of fucking goals, to say the least. And you're a good side if you do that. So I think when you look at that and how they'd started, they hadn't lost, I believe, until yesterday. So it was a case of it was going to be tricky. They've got some, decent setup. They've got some, Mitrovic, bit of a handful, right? For our defence yesterday, and he'll prove to be a handful for many defences throughout the season. He's already proved it, and he did prove it yesterday a little bit. But yeah, I was confident going in, but not arrogantly confident. I think that's probably the best way to put it.
To me, it sort of felt like we were sleepwalking through the game yesterday. 10 minutes went on and you thought, okay, we've had a few chances, half chances. We're dominating the possession. The goal was going to come. And then, 10 more minutes came and then another 10. It's like, okay, it's half time now. And you do, that's when, for me, you start to think, is it ever going to come?
Is it our day?
Yeah. I don't know how it sort of came across at home, but you could definitely feel, there was definitely an element of tension in the ground. Because I did feel like a lot of people did expect us to sort of just turn up yesterday and it would be a 2-3-0 cruisy afternoon at the Emirates. But for all our possession and for all our chances, we didn't really. I don't think we were. Dare I say? I don't think we were that good. I'm sure you'll disagree.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those where I think the best way to kind of look at it is we weren't necessarily good in the final third. I thought up until that point we were really comfortable on the ball. We were struggling to create chances, but just going back to how I felt going into the game, until I saw the lineup, I was pretty confident. But obviously, as you know, we had a couple of dropouts through two very key players in our starting 11. Zinchenko slotted in and he's really high quality. I think we really missed him yesterday. And obviously, look, we know what Elneny's about. He's not Thomas Partey for a start, but you miss him breaking the lines with his passing, and Elneny's a much more safety first approach, steady Eddie, right? I think that's probably the best way to put him.
Eddie.
So, we did play, really, really well. I actually thought we played quite well in the first half. Had lots of the ball, but it's just when we got to that final third, we were struggling to break them down, and we, the one. Speaking of that nervy feeling, it really kicked in for me, I guess, when Saka got put through. Couldn't quite shift the ball out of his feet, and that's Saka's not playing badly. He's involved in a lot of our play yesterday. Obviously, was part of the goal for the equaliser, but he just looks like he's lacking that little bit of cutting edge in front of goal. That definitely showed for that chance because I thought he should be burying it, and unfortunately didn't. So that's my nerves started kicking in then because that's when I start to think.
Did you start vacuuming? Did you get the vacuum out?
Crossed my mind yesterday, Steve. At 100, it was one of those games yesterday where it was a bit you're kind of pacing around a little bit. I'm sure you
Vacuum was
probably
on
stood up.
standby.
Yeah, vacuum, polish, duster, it was all there ready to go. We're not quite at that stage of the season just yet. I hope we don't get there, but inevitably it will, I'm sure.
It's interesting that you say that, because obviously, we all have different perspectives and thoughts and opinions. And I think, when you're in the ground, you sort of maybe get caught up in the emotions of what's happening in the crowd.
Oh, 100%.
And it just felt very frustrating. And when I say I don't think we were that good, I completely agree in the sense of we were completely dominant. We controlled the game. Apart from the goal that Fulham scored, it was, complete balls up. And there was an opportunity in the second half where I think it was Mitrovic again with a header where Ramsdale made a good save. Apart from that, they offered nothing for 90 minutes. It was very, very comfortable. So I agree in that sense we were very good. But it wasn't that final third. I just felt like we were getting in the positions, and once again, it felt like we were sort of looking for that perfect goal. There was a few opportunities where we got in some really good positions, and I was just thinking, like, put your foot through it, And when we did shoot, it just felt very soft. Like we weren't really testing Leno that much. Feels weird to say that, but like Leno made some good saves, but at the same time, they were low and they weren't particularly that challenging.
No, they were comfortable goalkeeper saves.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, is it ever are we ever gonna get this over the line? So we go like 1-0 down. What were you thinking at that moment?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because when you go 1-0 down, you spiral, don't you? You can't help it, because we've been there. Whether it's just the Arsenal of past that kind of just comes flowing back to you, and look, we're not that side anymore. It's a very different team that we have in front of us. But I think that's just your fan emotion through 90 minutes. You'll go through many of them, right? But yeah, when you go 1-0 down, and you saw already at that point that we were struggling in the final third. We weren't creating clear-cut chances. You start to think, well, this could be tricky to get back into it. And again, look, we had spoke about it previously. The team's going to be tested when it goes 1-0 down, and none of us really knew what to expect, other than we only managed to come back to win from a losing position once all of last season, and it was hardly convincing in that particular fashion either against Wolves, but. Yeah, I was worried, to say the least, when we went 1-0 down. It's funny though, because obviously we just spoke before we came on there, and you said in the ground, you, like me, I get distracted by things that are going on around me, and you don't watch the game as intently as you probably do on TV, because there's so much more going on. And it was just one of those moments where I was watching it and I saw the ball get lofted over to Gabriel, and you could just envisage the future. Like, I saw that happening, especially when Gabriel took his touch and couldn't quite get his feet sorted. You just knew what was coming. He was going to get the ball nicked off him, and then we were going to go 1-0 down, and that's exactly what happened. So it's just one of those moments. I think the big positive for me, and I'm sure you probably felt it in the ground in particular, was the fan reaction to this big error. I thought the cheer that came out of the stands was, reminiscent to what it was like for Saliba when he scored his own goal. So I think that was great, and I think that does play a massive part mentally, not just for Gabriel, but for the entire team as well. So I thought that was a good moment. But yeah, you feared it was, right? I mean, were you fearing it as well at that point? Do you think it wasn't going to be our day? Or?
Yeah, I was like, this is the Arsenal we all know and love. Mm-hmm. I said to Chant at the time, this is a test of our mettle now. This is an opportunity for Arteta and for the players to sort of show to the fans, okay, you know what, it's fine, keep our heads, we can turn this around. And fair play, we dug in and we did it. And you can't take those sort of results for granted, because like you said, like, was it once last season we came from behind, and especially in the later stages of the game, and you could tell the ground was nervous, but that the Fulham goal almost sort of kick-started the atmosphere. To be fair, like there was a lot of reference to the atmosphere yesterday, and for the first half, it was very quiet in the ground. Really, I was down in the. It started well, but I think realistically, when you're playing the likes of Fulham at home, no disrespect to Fulham, you're never going to get up. It's not like when you go playing the likes of Man United or Tottenham or Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? So it
It's the
wasn't
same
as loud as it has
anytime.
been. But once we got that, once Fulham, went ahead, it sort of lifted the crowd, and it really helped. And once we got the goal back, with a bit of luck, a little bit of a deflection, it was like, we can do this. And but it was interesting that both goals were proper, very fortunate. On 99 times out of 100, that goes into the stands or out for a corner or wherever. But for them both to sort of take, the first goal was in particularly, and then the second goal, that's just a complete fumble in the jungle, isn't it? And it's just complete luck that it falls down for Gabriel. And I think even I could have scored from there, to be honest.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I would like to think. I'd like to think you could, absolutely. But I think just going back to when they went 1-0 up, and the crowd, and obviously there were a lot of references to the atmosphere, and we've spoken about it quite a lot, that how much better it is to go and watch Arsenal lately, and how much better the feel is around the ground. The atmosphere before, the build up, during. It is pretty good. But yeah, I did feel that on TV that it did dip a little bit. But I've said it so many times, like you go to any big ground and fans react to either the occasion or the situation. And obviously when you go 1-0 down, that's when, as a supporter, that's when you need to back the team and you need to get behind the team. And I thought that the game actually probably brought into how the crowd were reacting a little bit, or directed the crowd how to react, or how to voice their support of the team, because the game went quite frantic after that, to be honest with you, because it was pretty much one-way traffic for most of it. It was us having the ball, trying to find the breakthrough, which we've seen so often at the Emirates over the years. But when you go a goal behind, that's when it shifts, doesn't it? You now know that you need 2 goals to win a game, and we all know that, like we just said, that coming from 1 down to get 3 points for this particular team hasn't been the easiest task, and it was always going to be a bit of a struggle to do that. And it's funny because I remember after the Palace game, I expressed minor concerns for Odegaard's performance. But the one thing I definitely remember coming out of that game was, there was an opportunity where he could have shot from about 6-7 yards and he didn't, right? And I just remember saying, the old cliche saying of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And it's just, you took one, it's taken a nick. Yeah, you need your luck. We all need our luck to score goals at times, and it's taken a nick. And it's just, without that, I don't think Leno would have been beaten. But that's it, 1-1 back in the game. And what was good about it is it didn't take us too long to get back on level terms. That really helps the supporters for sure in the stadium, because otherwise, if you'd have gone another 5-10 minutes, you can guarantee there would have been moans and groans, and
you lose that momentum almost, don't you? It did feel though that I thought, listen, Fulham won't be able to hold out forever. Like it was pretty much attack after attack after attack, and I think Eddie Nketiah, to be fair, really changed it. He stretched them.
Did well. Yeah.
He did well. I think he probably should have scored. Just smashed that towards the goal. First time.
Even easier option in my eyes, Steve. It's funny, that's yours. Mine's different. Head it across.
I thought, his impact was good. It's interesting how losing Partey and Zinchenko completely changed the complexity of our bench. It felt like, we actually don't have that many options, which was maybe a bit of a reality check in terms of our depth. Would you agree with that?
No, 100%. You take two absolute quality players out, right? That hinders your opportunities that can then come off the bench, because you've got to bring 2 lads into the fold on the bench as well. And it's interesting that we didn't see Smith Rowe yesterday, which probably wasn't the game for him, but I think it's kind of interesting. Maybe it's fitness, maybe it's the game state that it was currently in, but for Nketiah to be brought on ahead of Smith Rowe, interesting. Don't disagree with it, of course, because obviously Eddie did quite well when he came on and definitely sparked the attack, that's for sure. And it allowed Jesus to run free, because he was doing that quite a lot yesterday, and there was a number of occasions where I felt not frustrated with him, but because you don't want to be too hard on him, but there was times where he was trying too hard to get involved in the play to make things happen, and then when he was in picking up the ball in good areas, there was nobody in the middle. So I think that might have encouraged Arteta's thinking to bring Eddie on in and around the box, because Jesus carried on doing that, and obviously he didn't. We weren't effectively playing 2 up top. It was Jesus who dropped back into those wider positions for sure, and those deeper positions to link up the play and get it going.
Shit's getting real when he brings on a second striker.
We also know shit's getting real when Rob Holding's brought on to look after a lead. And that happened
yeah,
for the first time yesterday.
Literally. Quick mention to Elneny and Kieran Tierney, who came in for Zinchenko and Partey. Listen, I think in terms of Thomas Partey, he's always going to be a miss. He's such an important player in that midfield, especially when he's at his best. And I felt like we missed his presence.
It's not necessarily his presence. It's like I kind of alluded to earlier on. It's that he's got the quality to play, to be able to play those risky balls through the lines moving forward. Whereas Elneny, I don't think trusts his own ability, to be able to do the same things, because he'll get the ball turned, play it sideways or backwards 8 times out of 10. Or if it's very obvious, he'll play it forward. But that's the one thing with Partey does really, really well. He'll take a touch and then ping it forward to get us moving quickly, because that's when chances and gaps are created. And that's just the one thing we did like yesterday, was that pace of moving the ball from whether it was, back to midfield to attack. It wasn't quite as quick and incisive.
When you're basically playing against 2 banks of 5, there isn't necessarily the space to play that way. So I guess you've got to sort of take that into account as well. Carry on with what you're going to say about Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, it's just with Tierney, obviously, myself and James had a discussion before the game that, it's come up twice in 2 years that someone else has come into his position, and we've questioned, is he going to be able to get back in the side? And this was really the first time where he's come back into the starting 11. And I know he's probably still finding his feet. I get that. But I do really feel like we miss Zinchenko. I really do. The way he gives us a bit more tactical fluidity, the way he just has a bit more technical quality as well, I think. Tierney's still great, don't get me wrong, but I just felt we missed Zinchenko yesterday, which is mad. He's only just joined, yeah.
No, we did. It definitely felt like a bit of a downgrade in that area. We weren't it didn't feel as fluid on the left-hand side.
Absolutely.
I feel like Zinchenko's game is very different, though. Zinchenko sort of comes more into the midfield. He's a lot more adaptable to certain situations, where Tierney stays out on that wing. But you know what? It's worked in the past. He's been very good on that left-hand side. And, he creates a lot, scored that lovely goal against West Brom in the snow once on that side. But, I guess there are factors you've got to consider as well. He hasn't been playing. He hasn't started again for a long time. He looks a bit rusty. Big fan of Kieran Tierney, don't get me wrong.
So am I, yeah.
Very popular amongst the fans. And it would be great to sort of, for him to sort of get a run of games together and maintain his fitness and get back to that form that we know he's capable of.
You don't want them constantly picking up injuries, because that's when it becomes a little bit stop-start. And I think that went to show yesterday. Doesn't matter whether you're in, the business end of the season or at the start of the season. Once you lose that player who's so key to a certain area, it really alters the way you play. I just think it's one of those. If he does get injured again, I think it would be quite hard to shift him because people would be very aware of that. But yeah, I think look, it's great that we've got Zinchenko, right? Again, how many times we've spoken about it's great to have these conundrums. We've got options. So if Tierney doesn't find his feet, that's fine. We've got plenty of games coming up now. We've got Villa Wednesday, and then obviously Europa League's kicking off fairly quickly. So we're going to have plenty of football.
Got Man United in between that as well. So
yeah, Man United next weekend.
A part of me does wonder whether he was just purely resting Zinchenko and Partey ahead of 2 big games in the week. Playing Wednesday and playing Sunday against Man United. So we'll see where we go with that. Anything else you want to add on the game?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think you alluded to, Ramsdale's, made some decent saves. Again, much like we said about Leno, I would expect them to be made. They were relatively comfortable, not at full stretch, etc., but they were good saves. But more after that Mitrovic header at 1-1, I think there was a follow-up opportunity where Ben White literally threw himself in front of a shot and blocked it incredibly well off his back. That was a really, really key moment at 1-1. If that nestles in, we're back to shitting our pants again. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But also another funny moment for me was that was in the first half, and obviously the pantomime villain of the day, for no particular reason, is Mitrovic. Right, that's his role away from home, I think. But when Ramsdale went to do a quick break, one of those low, sidewinder sort of kicks that he does, and it absolutely smashed him square in the face. And he went down like a sack of shit. That was quite amusing for me. What were the celebrations like last
Class.
10 minutes?
There's a reel of
I've seen a few things.
My phone, because I was on the floor, because my phone just literally shoots out my pocket, just jumping around. And no, it was great. It was one of those moments that's like, yeah, it's what it's all about. And and then there was a quick VAR check. And you think, oh God, here we go again.
It wasn't that quick. It was longer than it should have been, because as soon as I saw replay one, it was clear as day that there's no. They were looking for a handball. I don't think they were looking for anything on Leno, because he just got himself into a bit of an uncomfortable area where he shouldn't have been. Yeah, and that's it's funny, because I think we were talking about it recently. I don't know whether it was on a pre-match or a post-match, but nothing against Leno, but I just felt like that was always one of its biggest areas of weaknesses, was just aerial ability, and it came to show on Saturday. So pretty happy with that, and I absolutely loved the player celebrations as well.
It did make me wonder seeing Zinchenko charging down the line. I was like, how injured is he?
Knee brace. I think it was precaution. I think they're both pretty precautionary.
Was Partey at the game?
Not sure. Don't remember seeing him on the TV.
Didn't see him.
You'd like to think he was there.
I did see Zinchenko. There's a really great video on Twitter of him having a go at the fourth official.
Yes, I love this.
It's very funny.
That winning mentality he's brought down with him. And the thing is, though, it's just like, I know it's very easy for players when they sign to say, "Oh, he's dreamed of playing for X, Y, and Z." But this lad, there was photos of him in Arsenal tops growing up. Doesn't always mean everything, but I think maybe that is something genuine. He has a genuine passion for Arsenal. Now he can show it.
Arsenal are a massive football club. I get that him and Jesus have come from Man City, but in terms of the current sort of landscape of the game, City are obviously up there. But in terms of sort of history and traditions, Arsenal are a Goliath compared to Man City. Until the millions that they received, they were nobody. They were just a middle of the road, mid-table Premier League club, yo-yo between the Football League and the Premier League. Arsenal have a wealth, a rich history of success.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can compare the two, really. People say, "Oh, he's come from City." Well, yeah, he has, but the way I look at City, they're very much like the MK Dons of the Premier League world.
It's like a well-oiled corporate football club that's just so efficiently ran.
It's the Harlem Globetrotters. It's the Harlem Globetrotters of the Premier League, and it's like, great, well done. I don't think there's a great deal of, listen, I fired that much money, and I had the likes of, I don't know, Haaland or whatever. I'd probably get a tune out of them, to be fair. Just give the ball to Haaland and let him do his thing.
He's a freak, isn't he? He is a freak of nature.
He is a freak of nature. One thing I wanted to touch on is Ben White. I thought he had a good game yesterday. He just tends to pick up a lot of criticism, but I thought he looked pretty solid at right back, and I really liked coming forward. He looked good yesterday. Just his ball, just on the ball and the way he moves the ball, very good. Very he gets into dangerous positions and he doesn't panic. He's very cool, calm, and collected. And I like that from yesterday. I thought he had a good game.
He's been fairly solid at right back all season so far. But what was, I'm glad you recognise that too, because it was particularly noticeable. One of the things he used to love doing for us, even from centre back, was he'd travel forward with the ball. And he did that a lot yesterday. He drove with the ball, which I hadn't seen as much so far this season, but he definitely was doing that yesterday. And whilst we're at, looking at the defence, I thought, it's crazy, isn't it? Saliba's now 4 games in, and the bloke just looks like he's played there for 20 years. It's just frightening. He's very unfazed yesterday. It was one of those sort of defensive performances from him where I don't recall too much, which is a good thing, because if I can't remember what you did as a defender, that means you did nothing wrong.
Yeah, literally.
So it was one of those from him yesterday. I was just like, you're just there, you do your job, very comfortable. So
I love how much he's embedded into the team. Like when you sort of look back to Nicolas Pepe on that documentary where he looked very unhappy, very much the outcast of the group, whereas Saliba's been around not very long. He's obviously had 2 loan spells, but you could just see he already looks like a part of the furniture.
100%.
And you can't fake those sort of reactions. You can't fake passion. We always talk about it as Arsenal fans, the connection between the players and the fans, but it's just you can't take it for granted, and that's taken a long time to get there. And it's a beautiful thing.
It's been great, and it's been well worth the wait as well. We've had some fairly shit times, haven't we, over the last number of years, and we've had some bang average squads, teams that just don't connect. Never really seem to get on board with the Arsenal way, and just what we've got right now is so refreshing. It's so good to kind of be a part of the club. We spoke about it. So, I even remember saying, with you last season. I think it was even before Brentford. That was the first time I'd been at the Emirates for a long time, and just everything about the whole feeling around the club's just so different to what it has been, and it's fun again, isn't it? I think that's the main thing. As a fan, it's fun to go and watch Arsenal again. I know a lot of us love to take our football a little bit too seriously at times, and you can consume football however you please, right? That's the beauty of sport, or any interest that you have. It's up to you how you want to consume it or how you want to react to it. But I think one thing that's just been so great is everyone just seems to be having a good time at the football. That's it.
It's what it's all about. It's what it's all about. Anything else you want to add on Fulham, or would you like to move on?
I think I'd like to move on, Steve. Yeah. Great 3 points. Happy days.
Yeah, really big 3 points. And listen, if we can make it 5 out of 5 on Wednesday, we will be on cloud 9. But still a long way to go. And like I said last week and the week before that, we're keeping our feet on the ground.
We are.
Well and truly on the ground. But we're going to fucking enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you know what? That is what football is all about, living in the moment and enjoying it. Because if you don't enjoy it,
it is indeed.
There's literally no point.
Yeah.
Let's do one good and one bad for the week. And then we've got some questions and a fan failure. So I'll throw it to you first. Where do you want to go? Good or bad?
Well, mine are kind of intertwined, and it's actually you've just provided the lovely kind of segue into that. And it's about having a good time, enjoying and living in the moment. Because let's be honest, we celebrated yesterday a little bit, didn't we? 1-0 down, 2-1 up.
I know where this is going.
Minutes. You know where this is going because we've been there before. But obviously there was a video going around yesterday circulating of a former Sky Sports pundit, Richard Keys. He was a fat little bastard these days, by the way. He's put on a lot of weight. I'm just going to put that out there. But yeah, the celebration police are back, and fuck them, basically. I'm really, really pissed off. That like you just said, if you can't go to football and enjoy certain moments or certain situations, and as a football man, you can't understand that, you're a wanker. So he's my one bad for the week. I just think the bloke's a fucking knob for coming out and saying that yesterday, because that's why we go to football, not just to celebrate goals. Celebrating a goal at any time of a game is good, unless you're 4-0 down. But celebrating a goal and a win when it's come in the manner it has, yes, we get we're 4 games in. Yes, we understand it's Fulham. We're not stupid. But at the same time, that is why you pay your money, and that is why you go to attend football matches. It's to see drama. It's the drama, Mick. I love it.
He loves it. I love that, Gavin and Stacey. Yeah, no, it is. No, I completely agree. And Laura Woods,
that's my one good today. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm not going to read it all out, but my one good is just purely her, not for the first time. Literally, just putting him back in his place. Back, I think I actually wrote down back in his pathetic little box. Is what particularly come to mind. As you can hear, I'm a little bit salty about it because it really bugged me that Arsenal get treated this way all the time. It's never anybody else that gets the shout out. An
Arsenal
like
thing though, because I think we only look at it through our Arsenal goggles. Because I think if you actually spoke to football fans, I think they would say the same. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's an Arsenal thing or we think it's an Arsenal thing. But yeah, my one bad was that too. I just think like it just needs to stop. Like people, it's all about those moments in the football, like that late drama, those goals, those celebrations, those moments when you're hugging a complete stranger. That's what it's about. And I do think there's a real difference between like match going fans and non-match going fans, and that's not a criticism. You know, I appreciate not everyone can watch, go to live games for whatever reason, might live abroad. You know, it costs a lot of money. I get it. It's not a criticism, but I do think, you know, a lot of the people who are very fast to criticize aren't the ones who are there and they don't necessarily get it. They take things very much at face value and don't really understand the situations. And, you know, it means a lot to people, you know, and listen, it's all about that togetherness and that feel good factor. And
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's different for me. And, you know, when you're speaking, it's obviously I'm not a regular match day fan or match goer.
You
but
get
I watch
it.
I 100% get it. And the only difference for me celebrating that winner yesterday was I jumped out of my seat because it was exciting. And obviously I really wanted this to win. I celebrated. The only difference was I wasn't hugging some random next to me because there was nobody there to hug, right? That's the only difference for me. But I'm sure there are some people that let's not also get it twisted. That there's people, you know, armchair fans, as we like to call them, that will celebrate goals at home just as much as we do in the stadium, right? But there's other ones who will just clap or just enjoy the moment in a different. And again, it's kind of what I said earlier. You know, it's up to you how you consume football and how you want to support a team. And I don't care how you do it, as long as it's done in the right way. But the people that don't want to sit there and then judge you for how you do it, just pop yourself in the bin. Literally. Have a day off. And,
but also, like, if it bothers you that much, like maybe football's not for you. You know, if you're that bothered about other people enjoying themselves. Anyway, I think we've covered it. So we'll move on. We'll park that. What was your one good for the week?
No, that wasn't. I was just saying about my one good. Yeah.
Of course, that was your one good. Laura Woods. Sorry. Yeah, my apologies. So my one good. It's actually another train story yesterday. It was all happening yesterday. So we were on the train and we were chatting to these randomers about they've been to this festival and we were talking about Arsenal. I can't tell you how we got onto the conversation, but we were saying, like, obviously people say up the arse. To us, we understand, but to other people, they might not get it. Anyway, and we got into the conversation of those, I'm sure you'd have seen it, those famous pictures, screenshots.
That lad and his man.
Yeah. And I posted it and I was literally in tears. Like I saw it years ago, but thinking about it, I was cracking up and I was reading it. It goes, so if you haven't seen it, just search "taking the mother up the arse Arsenal" and you'll find it. And it's two of them. And what I love about it, it says "taking the mother up the arse," great result. And then the other one, and there's a second one, it's another guy and he's put "taking the mother up the arse." # love my mom.
It's incredibly childish, but still, very funny.
It is. It's just very funny. Just very funny.
Simple.
So, yeah.
Bit of gentle comedy there. Yeah,
it was quite funny because as we were talking about it, like the whole, like ironically that we just been at the station and the whole carriage sort of emptied. We were like, oh dear, that's what you get about talking about taking your mother up the
arse. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's move on. Taking your mum.
Let's move on. Yeah, we're going down a dark hole.
That's not just a dark hole, mate. That's a sick, twisted dark hole. So yeah, best left. Move on.
Moving on. So today's fan failure. We have a message from Thomas_GR27. This is a good one, actually.
Hello, Thomas.
Hello, Thomas. Thank you for your entry. And I can really relate to this as well. So, fan failure. I was 9 when we reached the FA Cup final in 2014. I was fortunate to go, and I've been reminded several times not to waste the opportunity. When the day came, I was on my way to Wembley with my dad, who always used to take me to games. He constantly reminded me to make sure I didn't miss anything. We got to the stadium, but because of the random allocation tickets, he and I were seated at opposite ends of the ground. In a hurry, we skipped going to the toilet before the game. Always a rookie mistake. Always got to empty your bladder.
This could go two ways.
Luckily, they found someone to swap seats. So they sat down to watch the game. 15 minutes in, we're 2-0 down. Thomas is a bit upset, as you would be. but also bursting. He's bursting for a slash. So predictably, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. While he's
this
in the
sounds like
urinal,
you at the. This still sounds like you at the football. By the way, this lad's nice.
This is I said I can relate. I said I wasn't lying. So predictably, while he's in the urinals, he is a massive roar. Expecting to find out it's 3-0 is actually Santi's 30-yard screamer. However, he was optimistic at this point, eager to watch the next 50 minutes. But with 20 minutes to go before full time, once again, Thomas needed the loo. And would you believe it? He rushed off to the loo again, just as we won a corner. Surprise, surprise, another cheer went up, and he missed the second goal.
Oh my God!
Did he see the
winner? That's the question.
He did. I got back to my seat, and the crowd of at least 30 people shouting for me to go back to the toilet. I'd missed Cristiano's equaliser. Fortunately, there is a happy ending, as I refused to eat or drink anything for the next 40 minutes of play, and he didn't miss Aaron Ramsey's winner. Well, that is a great story.
That's a good story. Sounds like it could have been you, to be honest, you writing into yourself, to be honest. But I can't help but think, I wonder if that still scars Thomas going to games in this day and age. I mean, I've got so many questions. Like, how much did you drink before the game? I mean, I know it was a warm day.
He was only 9. So
yeah, he had a few Panda Pops.
He'd had one too many apple juices on that day.
Yeah.
What do they drink? What do they drink at that age? Like
Panda Pops, mate.
Panda Pops. No one drinks Panda Pops anymore.
No.
You can only buy Panda Pops from really like back end fish and chip shops. It's like Panda Pop Cola.
Panda Pops and Wham bars, absolute dream combination.
Wham bars, yeah. But that is a great story. Thank you for submitting that. I can only assume that Thomas went for the toilet twice yesterday.
Yeah,
and missed both goals.
Yeah,
and as a result, we won the game.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever missed it. Oh no, I have. I have missed a goal at a game. Not often though. I usually hold it as best I possibly can and put myself through the pain of holding it. But I do remember Norwich away years and years ago in the early to mid 90s, where again I was probably a bit younger than Thomas was at that age. I had to go and do the same. It was pretty cold. Yeah.
I would say that I could agree, but I'd be lying. I think it would be easy for me to list off the goals I have seen as opposed to the ones I haven't seen.
We spoke about this not long. I think last season at some point you missed a number of goals at a game, didn't you? Once upon a time.
I've missed a lot. I remember we went to Molineux once and Shamak scored twice and I missed both goals. And that cup final I missed the Cazorla kick because I was outside having a cigarette. Because we were 2-0 down, and I was like, this is just miserable. I was getting flashbacks to Birmingham City, and I think I missed the equaliser as well.
So, yeah, you and Thomas were on a par then. Who would have thought that all these years later we would be talking about a similar situation? You both missed those two goals. Together.
Literally. I mean, I saw the winner. I was watching it. I was in the Rocket on the Holloway Road.
Yeah.
So that's all right to watch it. Good memories. Anyway. Thank you for your story.
Yeah,
keep them coming.
Good one.
Just we'll be doing them every week. So if you've got anything, just message me or Kelvin, and we'll read them out.
We don't care how long ago it was. The funnier, the more cringe, the better. Even if you want to be held anonymous, that's fine too. If it's that embarrassing, we can do that also.
Cool. So to finish it, we have got some questions. Not as many as last week, unfortunately, but we've got some good ones. So let's dive in.
Come on,
so I will apologize in advance if I butcher all the handles. MC Groty 93. I've completely butchered that. A favorite kit this season?
For over to you, Kelvin. Tricky one. Naturally, like them all. But I think again, if you have to pick one, and I didn't think it would be this one, it's the pink kit.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd go with that. It's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, just nice.
Really nice. I really want to get it in the player spec, but without a name or number. I've really gone off that.
Oh, really? I never
Yeah,
got that. I'm thinking,
you know what? I don't think they're comfortable wearing them with a printing on the back. I don't think it's comfortable to wear at all.
but
Oh,
you're
he's had another
wearing
drink.
90. You'll have a 95 Dramber goalkeeper kit in 30-degree heat. That's comfortable, is it?
Fashion is pain, my friend. Fashion is pain. I posted that the other day and someone commented going like, that is the most uncomfortable shirt. And I was like, yeah, like, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go with the pink, closely followed by the black, and in third place we'll go with the home.
Yeah, that's my order.
My only issue with the home shirt is just it's a carbon copy of Man United's, which I don't really like.
Well, they copy this. Let's just have it that way.
Well, I just think bearing in mind, like, you know how big Arsenal and Man United are. Like, I get it lower down where football teams just have the same design, and it's just different color, very different kind of color combinations. But at this level, I think, come on, it's a bit lazy.
Like, even funny, it's just a template, isn't it? So I remember one of your favourite away shirts. I think you've got Gilberto on the back. Obviously, Leeds United had the exact same template in yellow.
Yeah. Those Nike shirts. Yeah. They all had it. And they had the same goalie shirts. Man United had when we had that Invincible shirt with the kind of the white line around the back. They had the same sort of stuff film. But yeah, and I get it.
It is what it is. Next question.
Arsenal Baller 21. Who is the best Arsenal player? So we'll go with this season.
This season, okay.
Or just the current squad?
Yeah, you can answer first on that. I'm intrigued.
You know, I was reading this earlier, and I sort of feel like, I don't know, like, who was the best? I don't know, because how you can't compare Ramsdale to William Saliba or Gary Jesus. You know what? I'm going to change the question because I can. I'm going to go, who's my favourite player? Actually, no, we had that last week, didn't we?
Did we?
We did.
Good memory.
I like Martinelli.
His favourite.
Martinelli is my favourite player.
Okay. And I'm going to go just for his technical ability as a footballer, Martin Odegaard.
Good choice. Solid. Like him.
Yeah.
The Arsenal way. If Jesus wins as our first Emirates Premier League title, whatever year in brackets, is he statue worthy? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I think there's many a player who merits a statue before any 100%. Of the current proper players. And also, like, we don't want the Emirates to sort of look like a life-size chess set.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree. You can do, instead of statues, do different. You could do plaques or something like that around the stadium that are a little bit more subtle. Because I do think statues are particularly special. They need to be.
Yeah. We've only got 4, right? Wenger, for me, should have a statue.
That's surely going to happen. And we've got what? Tony Adams, Henry,
Bergkamp. And what's his name? Herbert Chapman.
Yeah. So 4 dotted around.
I mean, there's plenty of space. Like there's an abundance of space. And I'd love an Arsene Wenger one with, when he's got his arms in the air at Tottenham, that one. Yeah,
for me though, one thing I'd love to see at the Emirates is have one of the side stands named after him. That's what I would love to see. Because absolutely, that was his vision. He put in a lot of time before and a lot of pain afterwards, right? To keep us there, and I think that would be a really fitting tribute.
No, I think so. And to be fair, like the way it's going with Arsenalisation, they've really sort of redeveloped the training ground, and there's a lot more nostalgia around the place, and they're really sort of buying into that because they know that's what the fans want.
Yeah, just on that subject, have you had any feedback from the club about getting that crest updated on the kits yet, or
what? Fuck off. Funny. I'll put a call through.
Good lad. Appreciate it.
Good lad. That's okay. Roop
Next question.
Q asks, who are the fans with the black in the clock end? Do we have ultras now? That would be the Ashburton Army. I guess they just like to wear black. I did put a thing on Instagram earlier. I don't think it works down the front at all because with the acoustics in the ground. Because in the North Bank, and even when I was on the side yesterday before I moved because of the disgusting heat, you couldn't hear them. I mean, you could see they were singing, but you can hear them because it just the volume just goes out. So
we spoke about this after Leicester, didn't we? Like they're still there, they're still big, but they've been moved down to the front a little bit. It'd be great eventually to see them take up that whole sort of section. That would definitely help. But look, credit to them. They definitely brought something extra to the Emirates.
Definitely. I like what they're doing. But the concourse and the clock end as well, it's always rocking. It's it's great to see. Next question. Archie Kingdom 21. How bad was the referee yesterday? I didn't think he was particularly that bad. I thought he let the game sort of roll out pretty smoothly. There wasn't a lot of stop and starting. Would you agree?
I don't. I mean, I'd love Archie to be able to, expand on the question, being like,
we loved him. We love a referee moan on here,
of course.
But I mean, he was a bit slow to book a few of the Fulham players. When they were putting their tactical fouls in. But
there wasn't anything that stood out for me yesterday from a referee performance that made me think you're having a shocker. So Archie, chill out on the refs, buddy. He was all right yesterday. Save it. There's going to be a moment when you can go to town. There we
probably at Old Trafford next week. Boss like _ Timmy, who composed the songs for Saliba, Zinchenko, and Jesus? That was Kelvin. Wasn't it, mate? You composed all three songs.
Do you know what? I'd love to be able to take credit for that, but no, I don't know. And I've always wondered this. So I've been like, how do these just generate? Because we've all seen people like create videos online and be like, oh, if you sang these lyrics to this song, wouldn't it be great? But it surely takes like either a group of lads or even just one lad at a game to shout and sing as loud as he possibly can, and just to hope.
That's literally it.
It's something, that people just go along with it. Imagine being that guy though who came up with that Saliba chant. How long has he sat on it as well? That's another question, because we've had him for a while.
Well, Fulham was singing that song yesterday because someone said to me when the atmosphere was good, I could hear the Saliba song all the first half, and I was like, that was the Fulham fans. So they have their own version to that. It was definitely them singing the Saliba song. Well, not the Tequila. Maybe I was wrong. I was sat right next to them, and I'm 99% sure they were singing that, but with a different name.
That's always the case, and it's funny you say that, because I think it was in one of the social groups that we're in. Somebody posted that United are robbing our Saka and Emil Smith Rowe songs.
I saw
Bruno
that. But
everyone
does that though. Nothing.
So we did it. One of your favourite Arteta chant was. I've heard that before somewhere.
And the LA song. Mick Arteta one's off Chelsea. Mate, every football song is robbed. Everything's recycled. Get over it, basically. Next question. Lewis Roper 94. How did you like the social yesterday before the game? It was great. It was
different experience for me.
What were you just sat chilling with your dog?
What did I do yesterday? I had one of those days. Watched a bit of the Formula One actually, but nothing. I was watching the Liverpool game as well, because we get a 3:00 game shown on a Saturday over here.
Nice.
But other than that, I mean, look, I could definitely say it was good yesterday. I'm sure it was a carbon copy of Leicester at home, was it not?
It was good. It was. There was a lot of singing. Even I was starting some of the songs. I was on fire. It was good. It was good crack in the pub. It was good fun.
Modest as ever, Steve.
No, did I say? I was on fire. You can tell when I've had a drink, because I'll start like a few songs. I'd never do that sober.
No, absolutely not. You need a few drinks in you to get a bit leery, don't you?
It was good. It was good. It was a good laugh. A lot of people. So there's almost like too many people to talk to. There's so many people around you, and you just don't really You feel like you're sort of like, don't know. You don't really know to distribute your time. Because I saw you text me, and I was like, I ain't got time to text people as well.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Too much going on, but it was good. It was good. And lovely to see you, Lewis. I had a good time. Sam _Gur. I've probably pictured that. Who on our bench / academy do you think will have a breakthrough season, if any? I want to throw it over to you, mate, because if I'm honest, I don't have enough time to follow Arsenal first team all the time, let alone watch the academy.
It's a tricky one, because
I'll leave that on to you.
Yeah, breakthrough season. I mean, that's a big statement. I don't think and maybe it's just something we're going to have to shift a little bit. I think we've had spaces available over the last couple of years that would allow players to have breakthrough seasons and cameos that give them the time to look good. I don't think we're going to have that as much as we've had this season as we had over the last couple. I mean, if I had to try and pick one, I think it's probably the new signing Marquinhos. He's one that I would like to see.
Does he count now? If we're talking academy?
Well, he said bench. Did he not say bench and academy?
Yeah, no, he did. He did say our bench / academy, but I just want to make it. I want to make it difficult for you.
Okay, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Academy. Do you know what? I'm actually not sure. There's the right back, isn't there? Who played some pre-season. I'm not sure if he's gone on loan though, to be honest with you. And I think any of our good players from the academy, are on loan at the minute. So I just think the context and just the lay of the land has changed a little bit at Arsenal over the last few months. We've got a lot more quality than we have had. So I don't think those opportunities will be there as much as they have been. Because it's funny, Smith Rowe's had that breakthrough season. Now he's on the bench. And again, we spoke about it earlier, but he didn't come on yesterday. And look, like I say, it's probably the game state which influenced that. If we were 3-4 up, he probably would have come on. But I think from purely someone I haven't seen who's young, he has been playing in, the reserve team so far, and he's scored a few goals, and that is Marquinhos. I think I'm keen to see what he looks like.
And Vieira as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't seen him yet as well. So yeah, I'll be keen to see them both. But yeah, Marquinhos, I think, is younger and less established, right? I think Fabio Vieira he's played top flight football in Portugal. So that'd be mine. Is there anything else on your side?
No. Maybe Reece Nelson.
Moving on. Next question.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles. That's going to be Arsenal for life. Hamburguna asks, White or Tommy at right back, Zinchenko or Tierney at left back, Elneny or Partey in midfield?
Last one's not even a question. Yesterday I answered that for
Elneny all day long.
But the other ones are interesting. I think I alluded to it earlier. I think I would, as it stands, prefer Zinchenko at left back. Or in that whatever sort of left-sided space that he plays in. He's not exactly a left back out now, is he? But the right back one. Well, actually, no. Do you agree with Zinchenko and Tierney?
I do on current form and what he brings to the team. Partey obviously in the midfield. White or Tommy? Thing is, I'd rather see Ben White as centre half, but then competition, with Gabriel and Saliba's massive. But then we're going to be playing 3 games a week, so there's rotation there. And I think ultimately, Tomiyasu, that's his natural position. I'd rather have Tommy in there and save White because I feel like White is quite a versatile player. I feel like he can play right back, he can play defensive midfield. He can, like we said earlier, he can dribble with the ball, take it forward. I think he's got a lot more in his locker than just a centre back. No,
absolutely. And another thing I'm just thinking there, obviously, look, isn't it great now to rush people back from injuries into the starting 11? Like Tierney and Tomiyasu both fall into that category. And it's great that we don't have to usher them straight back in and then risk getting them injured, because we did that last season with him, funny enough. So yeah, I mean, but again, all on current form, I'm happy with how it is. But look, these things could evolve over time.
One final question before we go. 1886 vintage. Why aren't Arsenal Football Club allowed to celebrate anything? You're gonna go off on a tangent again. I feel like we've already answered that.
But no, good question. Solid point.
I don't know if there's an Arsenal bias or it's just I feel like every club feels vindicated. You get what I'm saying. I just feel like every football club always plays the victim card.
Yeah, maybe. Again, maybe I don't spend any time at all looking at the reaction to other victories or anything. But it does just feel, that it does come our way a little bit more than others. I think a lot of it stems from jealousy. And that's a very big point to make. But obviously, jealousy is love and hate at the same time, as we know. And I think it stems back to that Invincible era, you know. I think a lot of people got rubbed up about how good that was and how massive an achievement that was for a football club to do. And a lot of people would have looked at it and gone, I hate that Arsenal have done it, but I would love my team to do that. Maybe there's a little element like that it just feeds into people's narrative and how they look at Arsenal. Because it has felt like that for a while. It's us against everybody, right? And the celebration police were out a lot for us last season. It's already started this season. So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it. It could be more for other clubs as well, but it does generally feel like it's more aimed at us. And I think there's an element of people that don't, again, bit of jealousy, that aren't enjoying seeing Arsenal as a football club getting back. And I say, you know, getting back, we're not there yet, getting back to the level we once were. And I'd say there's an element of jealousy surrounding that, because let's be honest, if not being a supporter of Arsenal, but looking at what's going on at Arsenal right now, you look at the fans, you look at the atmosphere in the stadium, that must be, there's always an element of you look at that as jealousy, right? Because you always want your team to feel like that or your club to feel like that, and ours is in that space right now. So that maybe that's it for me. But
yeah, mate, we're massive. The Arsenal are massive, gargantuan. And on that note, shall we call it?
I'd say we call it, yeah. So I guess, yeah, as always, we'd just like to thank you for taking the time to listen to the podcast. And we hope you've enjoyed it. If you do enjoy the show, please do leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. And also remember to share it with your friends on the socials. But look, please keep an eye on our social media feeds for the next podcast. It will probably be on Thursday after the Villa game. But until then, look after yourselves, look after each other. Take care. Goodbye.